I'm Tanya Mercer, Decatur Township District Reading Specialist, and I'm here today to teach your child Sunday Level 19 lesson for today. When you see the following cards, your child is going to read out each sound out loud. Make sure when they see the vowels that they give you the short and the long sound for each one of the vowels. Give them this as a prompt, and that should help them remember. If the student makes an error, say this is the letter O, which says ah, as in octopus, and then have them trace 3 times. Ah, 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 for octopus, or whatever the error was made in. I'm going to quickly go through the following slides. You can pause the video if your student needs more time. Prompt for the short and the long sound. Prompt for the short and the long sound. Short and long sound. Short and the long sound. Okay, now we're to the spell sound section of our lesson, the number 2 right here on your Sunday notebook. This is where you're going to write the letters that make the sounds that I am going to give. I will say the sound and you will repeat it, and then you will repeat it and write it. If the student makes an error, here's an example of how to correct. I see. I wanted D. Can you tell me what letter makes the D sound? So you try to get them to do their error correction, and they would say D. If you don't have D for duh, cross it out and write it. Then write it 2 more times for extra practice. Okay? All right, first sound, gl. Gl. Repeat it, then repeat and write. Tr. Tr. Sl. Sl. Uh. R. R. Okay, take a moment to finish those. Now I have some questions, and I want you to write your answer over there in the spell sound section where you have your extra lines from today. So, how do you spell the long I sound at the end of a word? How would you spell the long I sound at the end of a word? Write that letter down. How do you spell long A, the long A sound at the end of a word? And write that down. The answer for the first question should have been Y. When you hear I at the end of a short word, it's generally spelled with a Y. How do you spell long A at the end of a word? A-Y. Okay? All right, now you're going to go ahead and you're going to read. I think you could maybe do all the columns here. So take your finger. Now, these are nonsense words, so they will not make sense to you. You are just to sound them out. They are not real words. This is just to practice sounding out. If they make an error, say, let's trace. Have them say the word, trace each letter, and say each sound while blending. So if they missed the first one, dap, say they said dep. Have them trace while looking at it. Dap. Okay, and do it for a total of 3 times. So pause the video and take a moment to read these nonsense words out loud. Okay, now we're going to review the touch spelling. Everyone should know how to do this by now. Remember, your writing instrument is in one hand. You touch spell. If you're right-handed for writing, you would touch spell starting with your pinky. If you're a lefty, you would touch spell starting with your thumb, following to the left to right sequence of how words are in our language. Okay. Now we're to the spell words section of the lesson, so you'll be writing the words I give you in this section here, and you might have to write a couple of rows. I'll give you the word, you will repeat the word, you will touch spell the word while saying each sound out loud, and then write the word. Okay, first word, go. Crop. My. Me. Bleed. Frock. Stem. Shush. By. And then the sight word are. Okay. Here's the second row. If you're having, if you don't have enough time, you can skip this and go to the slides to check yours. But let's go ahead and do the second row if you have time to do that today. First word, no. Trap. Shy. Be. Way. Drip. Sleep. track, dry, was. As I said before, you can pause the video to give yourself more time to do the spelling of these words. Take a moment and write them down. Now we're going to check the words that you've written. Check your words. If you made an error, cross it out. Don't erase it, and write it 3 times. Ideally, you would be doing this with a pen at home, so that way we can see any patterns in your errors, and then we know what we need to work on. This word is go. Remember, if you make an error, cross it out and write it 3 times while looking at the word. Crop, my, me. If you need to redo it, then pause it so you can look at the screen while you write it 3 times. Lead, frock, stem, shush, by, are, this is a sight word, no, trap, shy, be, way, trip, sleep, track, dry, was. After you've checked and corrected any words that you need to, read the list of words just written out loud. Pause the video and give yourself time for that. Now we're on to the spell words, phrases, and sentences section. So right here on your paper, this is where you're going to write this, okay? I'm going to give you a sentence. You're going to repeat the sentence. You're going to tap out 1 word per finger, and then you're going to tap it out and write the sentence on your paper. So you would do, say, the cat sat. The cat sat. Then you would tap it out. The cat sat. Same over here. The cat sat. The cat sat. The cat sat. Okay, depending on what hand your writing instrument is, and you just shouldn't have to put it down. First sentence, we can go to class. Repeat the sentence, tap out the sentence, and then write the sentence. You'll probably want to pause to give yourself time to do this. Next sentence, can you meet us at the track? Repeat the sentence, tap out the sentence. Remember, if it's more than 5 words, just go back to your pinky or your thumb, depending on what hand you write with. Pause the video and write out your sentences. Okay. When you have enough, when you're finished with your sentences, make sure you check it for caps. Okay. Is everything capitalized that needs to be? Is it accurate? Do I have the right amount of words in the sentence? Do I have the correct punctuation? Do the ending marks go with the sentence? Is it a question? Is it a sentence? Is it exclamatory sentence? And then S for spelling. So check for all these things. And now we're going to check our work. Okay, so this is what your sentences should look like. We can go to class. W is capitalized. There's a period at the end. Can you meet us at the track? C is capitalized. And there's a question mark because we are asking a question. If you made an error, cross it out. Don't erase. And then write the correct item above the error item. Okay, now we're introducing a new sound, our new material section right here. So I'm going to show a card. You're going to repeat the sound and trace it. So CH says ch. Can you say ch? Ch. Okay, now I want you to take your fingers and I want you to trace CH ch. 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 at least 3 times. The key word for CH is chick. Can you say chick? Chick. Okay. Now I want you to write in the Introduce New Material section down here. I want you to write CH 3 times on those short lines on the left-hand side. Now we're going to practice reading words that have the CH sound. Take a moment and pause the video and take your finger from left to right, sounding out each sound, then blending it as a whole word. Read each of these words from the word book. Okay, now we're going to practice spelling words that have the ch sound. You will only hear a ch. You'll use one finger when you're finger spelling, but you will know that the ch sound is made of 2 letters, the CH. Okay, so listen carefully. You'll write this in this section of the new material portion of your Sunday notebook. You will repeat the word, touch spell the word, and touch spell and write. And you will probably need to pause the video after each word to give yourself adequate time. First word, chip. Chin. Chill. Chop. Chick. Chap. Check. Okay, now we're going to check our words. This is what you should have written. If you made an error, cross it out and write it correctly. Then, once you have everything written correctly, read the words that we have just written. So you might need to pause the video to do that. Now we're to the read aloud section of our lesson. Make sure that you're reading with your finger underneath each word and sounding them out correctly. You'll probably need to pause on each slide to give yourself time to read. You'll notice in this reading they have little bars over certain words. Those are sight words that don't sound out correctly. They call those the rule breakers, and so they're in jail. Okay, that is the end of our Sunday Level 19 lesson for today. Thank you and have a great day.